I was a terrible show called 13 Death Street, Harlem. What a terrible. Well, the show was as bad as the title, really. So I'd been at least 8 years in the theater. I'd done a lot by then. I was a seasoned actor, but I was in a terrible show which I hated. And so a girl who I knew worked for a film company, and I phoned her up. She said, by the way, Ealing Studios are doing a film called Bird No Vultures Fly. Said, why don't you phone them up and see if there's a part of it? That was a thing that was going out to Africa, you know. So I said, no. I said, no, come on, what have you got to lose? So I phoned up and spoke to Margaret Harper Nelson, who was the casting director at Ealing at that time. And I said, my name is Earl Cameron. I said, I understand you're doing a film called Bird No Vultures Fly. I said, well, that's not until November, I'm afraid. But he says, your name is Earl Cameron. I said, yes. He said, well, we sent your picture in Spotlight. You know Spotlight, of course. So he said, by the way, would you be able to come to Denham Studios this afternoon? Those days, Denham Studios was still open. And meet Basil Deere, the director. I said, yes, indeed, no problem. He said, well, I'll make an arrangement for you to be there by 3 o'clock. Will that suit you? I said, yes. And I was in this terrible show. I said, I have to get back by 5:30 because he said, well, it'll be just an interview to meet with Basil Deere. Anyhow, I went to Denham Studios, met with Basil Deere and had a chat with him. And he told me about this film, Pool of London. Didn't mean anything to me at school. I had no idea what the script was about and everything. And we had a long talk, and I showed him some of the clips I did from the theater. And he said, well, they look very impressive. Well, by the way, Earl, how old are you? I said, 26. I was 32 at the time. What could I do? So he said, you look older. I said, well, maybe it's my mustache. I had a mustache then. He said, do you mind taking it off? I said, not at all. Right now, I feel like. He said, well, anyhow. He said, what time do you go to the theater? I said, I'm at Walthamstow this week, and I'll be leaving home about 5:30. So he said, we'll get the script to you before then. Sure enough, the script arrived. Every second page almost was Johnny. I thought, oh my God, this I've got to get.
Here's a quid. Ethel, gentleman wants to pay for the drinks and the cigarettes. You want to fight?
I'd been in England for a number of years, and I knew how people thought about this. I thought this was very, very. When I first read the script, I said, this is very different from anything that I've ever done concerning racist, the relationship between Susan Shaw and myself. And I welcomed it, of course. I said, yes, I'm happy to play this part. I've had similar experiences in life, more or less, to some degree. It was soon after the war, and I spent practically all my life in London during the war, so during that period. So I was very familiar with the docks and everything. It was rather delightful working around the ships and that. Yes, very romantic in a strange sort of way, for me especially. Yeah, I related very well with Johnny. My experience in life in general, wasn't unlike the character, and I loved the part.
Who said that?
I don't know, sir.
Oh, never mind, never mind.
My first day on Pool of London, I was met by the second assistant. Hello, Earl, all first names. So, how are you? Nice to meet you. My name is so-and-so. Would you like a cup of tea or coffee or sandwich or something? That sort of welcome I really enjoyed. I remember it very well, the first day at Ealing. And yes, that's the attitude of the film. The difference is that everybody's very, very friendly in the studio, generally speaking. I found that anyhow.
When you're at the wheel of a ship at night, far out at sea and nothing else to do, you think about a lot of things you don't understand. You wonder why one man's born white and another isn't. And how about God himself? What color's he? And the stars seem so close, and the world so small in comparison with all the other worlds above you. It doesn't seem to matter so much how we were born.
I didn't face any real difficulty being a black actor in the 50s. No, I wouldn't say that. Apart from the fact that Pool of London, I got some wonderful notices. Practically all the critics, West End critics, the main papers, gave me a good write-up. Even in New York, I got good notices from New York Times and American papers. But I waited well over a year before I got my next part, which was ridiculous. It was just the fact that a Pool of London was, as you know, it broke a lot of ground in the film industry in that sense. And I don't think they were too sure what to write next. Had I been a white actor, you might say, no doubt about it, with all the notices I got, I would have been given contracts and snatched up.
You will write to me, won't you? Let me know how you're getting on.
You mean that? You want me to?
Of course I do.
I wanted to go home, Pat. Like I told you, I wanted to go home. But now I don't. I want to be coming back again. Back into the pool. Back to London. But because I do, I can't.
Oh, Johnny, I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I should have known.
I saw Pool of London a couple of days ago, and I realized how good a film it really is. It's a hell of a good film. Well made, well directed, and generally speaking, by all the cast, well acted. Yes, it's a first-class film. And I don't know, I mean, you can't repeat these things, but one would expect more films of this kind, I think, to be made somehow. Relationship, like with Susan Shaw and myself in the film, but very delicate, very delicately put, beautifully put, mind you, by the writer. But it could have gone further. In real life it would have been.